made. Well, all right, then you're in the right place because we're going to make some today, right here. I am Argyle Douglas, and welcome to Guts and Glory. Apparently, when you do that, people are supposed to cheer, I guess. And so we've all agreed that when the person's voice goes up like that, we'll just cheer. We don't even know what they're saying, but that's all right. Yeah, this is it's in the program. It says that it's a Scottish cooking show, but it's actually comedy and culture as well. So after it's over, you can put the C's in whatever order you wish. All right, or whatever order you deem necessary. So anyway, before we get started, the recipe is legitimate. You can actually make this haggis, and people have. All right. Some of what I tell you is not. But I'm not going to tell you which is which, except on certain occasions, because I never let the facts get in the way of a good story, all right, or even a mediocre story for that matter, or even just a story. But anyway, first off, Scotland gets its name from Scota. Does anybody know who Scota was? I just told you, the person that Scotland's named after. You're like, oh no, it's going to be this kind of show. No, it isn't. It's not, trust me. All right, that's it. You can just relax now and enjoy the rest of the show. But Scota was the daughter of Pharaoh Ramses II. You know who he was, right? Yeah, he's found in the book of Exodus. And they act like spoiler alerts are new. I mean, the book's called Exodus, you know, they're leaving. Like, no, think about it for a second. If it was called something else, it would have been a page turner. Let my people go. No. All right, then. Your water is now blood. How about now? Still no? And as kids, we'd have been going, ooh, he's gonna get it. Ooh, you know. And then finally, after some gentle persuading, he lets his slaves go, doesn't he? And then he thinks better of it. And he sends his army out after them. And he loses that too. If you were his daughter, you would have run away from home as well. And she winds up all the way in Ireland. Has anybody been to Giant's Causeway in Ireland? Yeah, it's a beautiful rock formation. Look it up. The pictures don't really do it justice, but you know, they're close. Anyway, she stood there, and you stood right where she was, and she looked across, and she saw her promised land of Scotland. In fact, there was a sign that said, "We've got land with your name on it." And so she went across Giant's Causeway and came up on the other side in Scotland. And she didn't come empty-handed. No. She brought with her a stone. But not just any stone. It was the stone that Jacob used as a pillow when he had the vision of the angels ascending and descending. Remember that one? And you sung the song when you were a kid? We are climbing Jacob's ladder? Yeah? No? Just me? All right. Anyway. Oh, well, you missed out. She left it in the town of Scone. So we call it the Stone of Scone. Because, frankly, we have better things to do than sit around all night trying to think up clever names for places. I mean, really, we like to fight and make more Scottish people. So we also call it the Stone of Destiny because all our kings and queens have been crowned upon that very stone. That is until 1296, when Edward Longshanks stole it. And now it sits on a little shelf in London under Her Majesty's throne. And I'm here to get it back. Will you help me? Yes! All right, here's the plan. When you see Her Majesty, I need you to spread out in a long line. And each of you individually ask for the stone back. She'll be so annoyed she'll give it back. If that doesn't work, tell her that sitting on stones for long periods of time will give her piles. Yeah, she'll be sure to give it back then. All right, so has anyone ever been to the Highlands of Scotland? Yes! Did you hunt haggis? You did? And you did not. You let somebody else hunt for you, sometimes smarter. Yeah. What was the... You were what? That sounds alluringly dirty. I know, yeah. All right, well, there you go. So, yeah, which kind of haggis was it that you found? Was it a right haggis or a left haggis? Do you remember? Yeah, there's two types. The right haggis have 2 longer legs on the right side, and the left haggis have 2 longer legs on the left side, and this allows them to run at high speeds all around the highlands. Yeah. So what you do is you get a basket, and you go out in the highlands, and you spy your haggis right there, and you look at his beady little eyes, and then you run right at it. When it turns to run, of course, it'll roll down the hill, and you catch it in the basket. How many of you believe that story? All right, good. For the rest of you, for future reference, when did I lose you so I could change it? All right, anyway. Great. So, I want to get a fire going. How many of you have been camping? Yeah, and your firewood looks just like this, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what takes you so long to come back, doesn't it? Yeah, I know. So anyway, either that or you have a really great props person. I'm going to build the fire over here because it's wet there. And wet logs cause steam. What is it that appears over your head when you get an idea? Right, but we're in the Renaissance, so instead it's this. All right, or it's Pentecost, you know. Oh, good, all right. So, and don't worry about my hands. We Scots can only feel pleasure. We cannot feel pain. So we'll get the fire going, just like that. And I have this lovely pot of water right here. I'm going to ask that you don't look at it for the rest of the show, all right? Otherwise it won't boil. Okay. Yeah, they gave me a note that said my jokes are funnier when I explain them. I'm a guy. I can take a hint. No, I can't. I can take a note, but I can't take a hint. There, that's funny. All right, so we're going to put this water right here, and there's a breeze, making the heat go this way. All right. Scottish culture. A lot of you think that we Scots are cheap, but we're not. Oh, no, we're thrifty. I'll prove it. All right. One of the great icons of Scotland, right, of course, is the bagpipe. And you think about that. Bagpipes are just made with the stomach of a sheep. This one features my corporate sponsor, Emperor's Needle. They made it for me many years ago. They're up by the mermaids. And, this one is enlarged to show texture. And a reed. 2 of the cheapest ingredients in all of Scotland. You stick the reed in and you've got bagpipes. The missing link between music and noise. All right. You know what? Thanks for not looking. We're going to throw this right into boiling water here. And there you go. And we'll let that get boiling. We also invented golf. I know what you're thinking. Well, golf isn't cheap. No. That's the membership fees and the ground fees. That's where they soak you, right? Absolutely. And the 19th hole. Absolutely. So, when we invented this sport, every self-respecting Scot already has a club. And we discovered early on that small balls cost less than big balls. And you can dig a smaller hole. And this is true. The origin of the sand trap comes from when the sheep want to get out of the wind. They dig a hole, wind blows over them. Eventually the wind dies down. They get up and walk away. It fills up with sand. And that is the origin of the sand trap. Again, you will notice absolutely no labor on our part whatsoever. See, now you're starting to go, oh yeah, this thrifty thing, I'm kind of liking it. And then we're just a couple of months from it, aren't we? Yeah! Oh man, the great sport of curling. Yeah! All right! The Tim Hortons Briar. Yeah, man, it's great. Nah. You're like, oh, we only have to watch that every 4 years. But anyway, curling is a great sport. It's played with a rock. There's plenty of those around. And a broom that every kitchen already has. And you wait a couple of months and you've got ice. See? There you go. Great sport, isn't it? All right. Has anybody seen that Shakespeare fella today? Yeah, you have. You tell him our guy was looking for him when you see him. Aye. I got a bone to pick with him about that Macbeth play that he wrote. No, it's a great play, it really is, if it was about somebody else. Macbeth was one of our great kings. I'll prove it. Whilst he was king, he went on a pilgrimage to Rome to visit the Pope. It took him 3 years to go and come back. When he came back, his kingdom was largely intact. Yeah, think about that the next time your boss is away for a week. Yeah, and we Scots will fight about anything. Also, while he was in Rome, he gave money to the poor. He's Scottish. That's like a miracle. Yeah, tight-fisted comes from us. All right. His play's cursed too, right? He walks around the Shire going, my play is cursed! My play is cursed because I put witches in it! It's cursed because of us. Don't you ever forget, the Romans had to build 2 walls to protect themselves from us. Aye, that's why his play's cursed. Yeah, it's so cursed you're not even allowed to call it Macbeth, are you? What?
That's Scottish play.
Right, you gotta call it the Scottish play. Yeah, like that's not an insult, eh? Yeah. Romeo and Juliet's not the Italian play. Hamlet's not the Danish play. Henry VIII isn't Who's Your Da? All right. What do you say we get cooking? All right, here we go. First, you need a sheep. This one's a ram, you can tell by the horn. Oh, that reminds me. There was this mountain sheep there that spied this absolutely drop-dead gorgeous mountain sheep over there, and he started chasing after her. And she, of course, ran away playing coy like you do. And she's jumping from rock to rock and hillock to hillock, and he's chasing after her. And suddenly she comes to the edge of a cliff, turns around and runs back the other way, and he goes sailing off. And as he went over the cliff, he went, oh, I didn't see that U-turn. I would like to say that that's the cheapest joke in the show, but there's one more coming. All right, there's just one more coming. All right. So, we're going to reach in here. You'll notice I have no blood packs. I am not a faith healer. And we're going to pull out an organ. What is this? That's right, it's the heart. It's anatomically correct unless you're in the medical profession or at school. In which case, happy Valentine's Day. All right. The kidney, that's right. Now, was the organ named after the bean or the bean after the organ?
Yes.
Yeah, I really want to know. I mean, I did solve one of life's mysteries this morning at the Boar's Head Inn. I ordered chicken and eggs just to see which would come first. All right, here we go. All right. Anybody? That's right, it's the liver. And if you're over 21, it must be punished today. All right, here we go. Do do do, do do do, do 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 do. That's right, it's the intestines. And if you like hot dogs, bratwursts, sausage, that's what this is stuffed in. This is the lower tract. We use the stomach. Think about that. Haggis is silently climbing up, isn't it? In your estimation. Yeah, there we go. Good. Oh, great. Ah, here we go. That's right, lungs. And for you young people out there, many years from now, when you shuffle off this mortal coil, your lungs should look just like this. Nice and healthy. All right? Because you took care of them. Now I count as an educational show and I can get a government grant, so. All right. Well, somebody's been to Ireland. Which reminds me, when you go to Scotland, it's whiskey. Do not call it Scotch. All right? Just, you'll get better service. Yeah. And no hairy eyeballs. Oh, we'll give that back to you. All right, this last organ. If you get it right, I have to buy my props person a beer. Now that might not sound like much to you, but what that means for me as a person is that no matter how many beers I drink for the rest of my life, I'm going to be 1 beer short. And I will have to live with that guilt. I know. Maybe, oh, look over there. She gets them all right. Anybody? What? Yeah, it's a pancreas. Don't rub it in. I mean, what's your name?
Sam.
Sam? Sam I am. Did you order green eggs and ham this morning? All right. Everyone, meet Sam. And we're gonna put Sam right here, staring at Sam. You know, make sure that, you know, you feel guilty. Yeah, so years ago when my prop person was making these, she says, oh, and I made you a pancreas. And I said, do sheep even have a pancreas? She says, I don't know. But I knew I could make you one, so I did. We looked it up. They do. Because, you know, ignorance is a choice nowadays. And anyway, I said, oh, that's great, you know. And then she goes, yeah, I knew I could make one. I'm like, wait a minute. Like, what was she thinking while she's making the organ? Well, I made this and this and that. I can make a pancreas. I'm going to make a pancreas. Anyway. Ay, ay, ay. All right. First, you take out a main gauche. It's just, honestly, it's French for left hand. It's like those French have a better word for everything, don't they? It's because it's worn back here like this. And you have your rapier in your right hand, and then you draw it, see? And then, you know, main gauche. Needs tightening. All right, there we go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to chop up these organs, and as well as, oh no, as well as these onions. Does anyone know the difference between a bagpipe and an onion? And no one cries when you chop up a bagpipe. You knew that was coming, didn't you? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to chop these up just like this. Ooh, look over there. Keep looking. It's really funny. It's great. All right, look at that. And now we have offal. All right, I know it looks awful, but it's actually pronounced offal. So we're all chopped up there. Then we're going to take a little salt and pepper for seasoning. And then the Douglas family secret ingredient, nutmeg. This is what's going to put your haggis right over the top. All right. It's a special, every clan, every family has its own secret ingredient that goes in. This one is the Douglas. Then we have oats and barley. Stay. I realize it's a sheep, not a dog. And we're going to mix that all together. And now we're going to pull our stomach out of the boiling water. Remember, don't worry about my hands. And we are going to throw it immediately into a pot of cold water to shock it. And then you pull it out, and we cut off the esophagus, and we'll just leave that right there. And we cut a slit in it here. Has anyone ever had tripe? Yeah, right. It's the stomach of the cow, right? And has those like fringy things and all. Yeah, we don't eat that. Oh, we scrape that right out. See, you're liking haggis better and better now, aren't you? I am winning you over. So we do that, and now we take our oats, our barley, onion, nutmeg, salt, pepper, and we put it right inside the stomach here like this. And then we're going to sew it back together. And we've sewed it up, and you don't want to fill it up all the way. You need to allow for expansion. All right, so you want to skewer it a few times too to allow it to breathe. You do not want it to explode. All right, I had a haggis explode on a scullery wench one time. Ooh, made her a hot mess. And that is the cheapest joke in my show. And now mercifully, we're past it. Yeah, so there you go. Now what you want to do is you want to take your haggis like this, and you want to put it on a baking sheet or pan. and you want to place it in the oven for about 3 hours at about 375 degrees. After the first hour though, you want to go check on it. You don't want it to explode. I mean, after all, what is Scottish cooking if there's not the element of danger? Yeah, exactly. So after that first hour, you hop up and you're confidently striding toward the kitchen. And then as you get closer, your gait narrows, doesn't it? As you're starting to lose confidence. And then you start to do this as you get closer to the oven, and you're leaning over, and you realize that that's the moral equivalent of Wile E. Coyote just going like this before a bomb. You know, it's not going to help. I don't know, maybe they say, well, he was trying, you know. And so you reach over and you open it up and you skewer it a few more times, and then after 2 more hours, you wind up with this beautiful haggis. I mean, you might even be moved to write an ode. Maybe 25 January. Has anybody been to a Robbie Burns dinner? All right, great, good, excellent. Those of you who have never read Ode to a Haggis, it's dirty, you'll love it. And you can proudly serve this to your friends. And after you've served them, they won't be just friends anymore. Nope, they'll be accomplices. Because making haggis in America is illegal. Yeah. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? So you can actually live out that story. A friend will bail you out of jail, but a good friend will be in the cell with you going, wasn't that great? Yeah, and you'll be sitting in the cell with them, and then, what are you in for? Made haggis. You're gonna have the place to yourself. Yeah, so if you wanna make authentic haggis, and who doesn't, right? If you live in this area, you're perfect. Because you can get the illegal ingredients from people that are local. They have an affinity for black, and they don't tend to drive motorized vehicles, if you know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I cannot mention them because then I'm an accomplice. So yeah, there you go. So now you can make haggis. And I will leave you with this so it's not a total loss. You know, you have a joke to take with you to the office or something. And also, anyway, a long time ago, top of a mountain, Scottish army. Top of the other mountain, English army. In the valley, fog. When suddenly, a voice out of the fog says, "Hey! Any one Scots can kill 10 Englishmen." He sends them down. There's a scuffle, silence. A voice out of the fog says, "Hey! I'm aware that you couldn't actually see the guy saying "hey" in the fog. But visually, the joke's more appealing this way. All right, just trust me on this. I'm a professional, or something. Hey, any one Scots can kill 50 Englishmen. He sends them down. There's a bit longer Donnybrook, you know, and then silence. Out of the fog, a voice says, "Hey, any one Scots can kill 100 Englishmen." And he's just getting ready to send them down when all of a sudden, one of the Englishmen crawls out of the fog and says, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. It's a trick, it's a trap. There's 2 of them down there." Thank you so much. I'm Argyle Douglas. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Have fun.